somebody. Don't you ever give them permission to take over your story. And that's what Jesus does in the 10th chapter. He takes his story back. Touch somebody and tell them, I want my story back. Because when you hand over your story, you hand over your power. The Bible said, these are they that came through the great tribulation and have washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. They overcame by the power of his blood and by the words of their testimony. And when you hand over your story, you hand over your power. You must fight till your dying day to tell everybody in your life, you can have my help, but you cannot have my story. You can have my devotion, but you cannot have my story. Shake somebody and tell them, I want my story back. Somebody needs to go home today and in the spirit, you need to go back to wherever Leroy is and wherever you left Shaniqua and tell them, I want my story back. I want my life back. I want my mind back. I want my peace back. I don't give you permission to speak for who I am. I speak for myself in the name of Jesus Christ. I feel the power of it. Let's understand now that for 3 chapters they have been lying on him. In the 7th chapter, they said he was a heathen. In the 8th chapter, they said he was the devil. In the 9th chapter, they said he was a sinner. But in the 10th chapter, he said, I am the good shepherd. You missed the shout. You missed the shout. In the 7th chapter, they said that he was a heathen. In the 8th chapter, they said that Jesus was the devil. In the 9th chapter, they said he was a sinner. But in the 10th chapter, he opened his mouth and said, I am. I am. You ain't ready for this. Because you still let people speak for you. But I wish I had somebody today who will say, I'm at the place in my life where I'm tired of other people talking about who and what I am. Let me open my mouth and say, I am the good shepherd. This is my life. This is my life. This is my life. I said, this is my life. And I only get one of these. This is all I get down here. And I reserve the right to tell my own story. I reserve the right to write this myself. There are no co-authors with you. You may have a page in the book. You may have a chapter in the life. But you didn't write this thing. Me and my God. I am the writer and he is the editor. I write it and he corrects it. I write it and he changes the punctuation. I write it, he checks the spelling for me. You didn't write this book. Come on, honey, go there with me. Tell your enemies, I'm going to write this without you. If you stay, I'm going to write it. If you leave, I'm going to write it. If you bless me, I'm going to write it. Because I am what I am because of the grace of God. I feel like running around this place. Because this is interesting. It's interesting that in the 10th chapter, he would open his mouth and speak for himself. It teaches us now that you have to, if you want to know somebody, you have to let them show you who they are. Because if you invent people, come on, man. Come on, single folk, go with me, go with me. Come on, single folks. All the single ladies, all the single ladies. Go there with me. Come on, girl. If you invent people, if you make somebody up, then you will wake up one morning and realize that you have lied to yourself. All the folks, people get honest. All the folks who ever lied to themselves about somebody else, go ahead and put a praise on it right there. I'm not ashamed to tell you, I lied to myself. Lied to myself. Deceived myself. I've been hacked. I've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, and I did it to myself. I people will show you who they are just by how they stand, just by how they hold their fork, just by the tilt of their head. But Jesus teaches us in this text that ultimately people teach you who they are by how they deal with the wolves. Preach, Pastor Shaw. Well, I think I will. It's the wolves that show you who somebody is. Every now and then, you don't really know what you got until a wolf comes along to show you who they are on the inside. His point is to say now that if you want to know who I am, you have to watch me. And more specifically, he's saying to them, if you want to know who I am, watch how I deal with the wolves. Because it's the wolves that expose the intentions of the heart. Understand this? He shows us now that there are two kinds of people. There are shepherds and there are wolves. There are only two types of people. I feel like I'm helping myself. There's shepherds and they're wolves. Rather, hirelings. There are shepherds and hirelings. He says now when the shepherd deals with the wolf, he stays. But when the hireling deals with the wolf, can we go a little deeper? The Greek word for shepherd is pomehi. Pomehi means to lead and to love. Literally now, the shepherd is pomehi because the shepherd needs what he loves. And if he don't love it, he don't lead it. And you know you have a shepherd when the shepherd comes in contact with the wolf. And then the shepherd, under the threat of violence and death, will lay down his life for the sheep. Let me go deeper now. The Greek word for hireling or hired hand is mythos. And it means one who works for a reward. So that the hireling acts like a shepherd. The hireling sounds like a shepherd. The hireling dresses like a shepherd. But when the wolf comes, the hireling says to himself, I ain't come here for all that. The hireling says to himself, your family crazy. I ain't come here for that. I came here to get myself phone bill paid. I came here to get my car note paid because the hireling is only connected because of what he and she can get out of the relationship. Jesus shall tell you that most of the people in your life are hirelings. Look at somebody saying you're a hireling. Most of the people in your life are hirelings. They are the people who came to get something out of you. And the moment you stop doing what they want you to do, here's what they say to me as a pastor. Well, Pastor, you know, the Lord is speaking to me and leading me to some other flock. And the Lord has said to me, it's time to move on. The Lord ain't said nothing to you. It's because you ain't getting what you want. And you're a hireling. How many divorced people do I have in here? You sitting here crying about a divorce and crying about somebody leaving. You need to stop and thank God. Because you were married to a hireling who when it got tough and rough and tight, who when it got dirty and rolled down, they didn't love you enough to say, come hell or high water, me and you will never part. My key. Give God a color purple praise in here. Said somebody said nothing but death could keep me